PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media, here on Vegas Hockey Hub. I'm your host, Ian McKelly, and on this edition of Vegas Hockey Hub Recap, where we break down every single game of the 2023-2024 season, this is our Game 6 recap, the Dallas Stars versus the Vegas Golden Knights. And man, oh man, what a game this was. I mean, this is just an amazing game from start to finish. There's so much to talk about in terms of this Game 6. And, you know, this is going to be a game where you sit back and you analyze this, and there is so many positives versus a slim amount of negatives. And this is just going to be an incredible game to talk about. I'm happy to sit here and really look at this and say that your Vegas Golden Knights have beaten the Dallas Stars 2-0 in Game 6. You're moving on to Game 7. That's going to be on Sunday. We're going to do the recap show on Monday. That's going to be what we're going to do. And more importantly, when it comes to this Game 6, wow. You're going to Vegas. You're here at T-Mobile Arena. You're at the Fortress. The Fortress is rocking. They're loud. They're energetic. The reason why we have some of the best fans in the world because of how energetic the fans were during this game. I will say when it comes to the lineups for the Vegas Golden Knights, there is a lot of interesting stuff we are going to be breaking down in this game. Now, the goaltending, after being in Game 5, Bruce Cassidy decides that Adin Hill will once again be in net for Game 6. And unlike the previous recap, which if you want to watch that on the PR Connections Radio YouTube channel, or if you want to watch it on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, we have both there. But when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights having Adin Hill start for Game 6, looking at it with hindsight, taking away emotion, it was a good move. What a game by Adin Hill. This was a really good game. You really saw that Adin Hill was firing on all cylinders. And if you ask your host, Ian McKelly, the player of the game goes to Adin Hill. Adin Hill was the best player in this game by far. What he did was just a solid situation there by your Vegas Golden Knights. And you really saw prime Adin Hill. You really saw last postseason's Adin Hill kind of come alive in this Game 6, as Adin Hill would have 23 saves in this game and would have a shutout against the Dallas Stars, as your Vegas Golden Knights would beat the Dallas Stars 2-0. And yeah, what a really incredible situation there. And this is just a game that when you're going to look back at it, this is going to be the most impactful game of this postseason, because this is going to be a situation where your Vegas Golden Knights, they were in a do-or-die situation. They either had to go in and win or go home after this game. And your Vegas Golden Knights stepped up and did what they had to do, and they won in this Game 6. And we'll break down everything in this game, and it's going to be a really good game to talk about. Now, for the pregame notes. The pregame notes for your Vegas Golden Knights, this is going to be a little bit of a different situation in terms of the starting lineup. And as a matter of fact, this starting lineup is actually a bit interesting to talk about when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights, as this is a starting lineup that has a few changes in it that we are going to be mentioning here on the show. Now, Tomas Hertl on the first line with Jack Eichel and with Jonathan Marchessault, that is a good situation there. I like the fact that we have Hertl, who is a really good, efficient player, being on the same line with Jack Eichel, who has also been your best player in this postseason. 3 goals already in the playoffs. And Jonathan Marchessault, a leader, someone who the team can depend on, and a very reliable player in that situation. Last year's Conn Smythe Trophy winner out there in Jonathan Marchessault. Now, also on the top line, you also have Ivan Barbashev, Chandler Stevenson, and Mark Stone. Now, I thought this was a bit puzzling entering the game, but when you saw the line chemistry and you saw how Ivan Barbashev gelled with Stevenson and with Stone, it was the right call after all. It was a really good decision to have Ivan Barbashev be with Stevenson and be with Stone, because you saw throughout the entire game Mark Stone making great saves in the defensive area, and then later in the game scoring one of the 2 goals that we're going to be talking about later on in the show. So overall, that line of Barbashev, Stevenson, and Stone, that is a good situation there. I like what we saw in that matchup. You also have on the third line, Michael Amadio, Brett Howden, and William Karlsson. Now, some good news was that William Karlsson participated in morning skate. So William Karlsson did his job. He actually skated around with the team, and he does look better than the way he has performed the last 3 games. Now, anyone who knows the situation, he got hurt in game 2, but he is trying to play through the injury. And for line 4, it has been your typical line 4, but a line that has done a lot of good in William Carrier, Nick Waugh, and Keegan Kolazar. So that line 4 doing a really solid job there. Now, on the defensive pairings, you have Noah Hannafin and Zach Whitecloud. So Noah Hannafin, him being put on a different line once again, as Ben Hutton was with him in the last game. He's been with Alex Pietrangelo for a couple of games in this series. Now he is with Zach Whitecloud. That's going to be an interesting combination there. You have Braden McNabb and Shea Theodore, the constant on defense. They feel like they can't break that up, and I understand why. Braden McNabb, great shot blocker, one of the best guys when it comes to hitting and getting people away from the goaltender. And Shea Theodore, who, despite some of his faults, offensively anyway, he is a good player to have in the offensive zone. And then at goaltending, you have Aiden Hill. This is somebody who really stepped up in this game, and I can appreciate what Aiden Hill did in this matchup here. So in game 1, after the opening ceremonies, after the best presentation in hockey, your Vegas Golden Knights would play Dallas here in Vegas. And to kick off game number 6, in the first period, there was 2 instances we have to talk about. The first one, all right, Shea Theodore, why do you do what you do? Like, Shea Theodore, you had an opportunity to score, to put the puck in the back of the net, and you just go wide on that situation there. Like, it doesn't matter because we ended up winning the game, but imagine how impactful that would have been if Shea Theodore managed to get the puck in the back of the net instead of going wide and missing on a good opportunity there. Shea Theodore, that was a missed opportunity in that situation. And then towards the middle of the first period, Mark Stone had an opportunity to score, but Jake Ottinger got his stick in the way and managed to block a Mark Stone obvious goal that was right in front of him. Now, when it happened in real time, I thought the Stone just whiffed. Like, I really thought that he just whiffed on this opportunity when I first watched it. But then when you check the replay, Ottinger just ever so slightly gets his stick in the way, and your Vegas Golden Knights would stay at 0-0 tied up in the first period. And this is a game that was very defensive-minded. Like, if you're someone like your host, Ian Rickelli, who loves a good defensive battle, who loves a goaltender versus goaltender matchup, this is a game for you. Being tied at 0-0 in the first period, it showed you that Aiden Hill and Jake Ottinger were going to sacrifice everything to win this game. All right? And we also saw that in this game 6, this is going to be a Vegas Golden Knights team that was more energetic. You saw more hustle in the offensive zone. The turnovers were not as dramatic and not as constant as they were in the past. And more importantly, when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights and the Dallas Stars game 6, you could see that the enthusiasm in Vegas and the talent was on display. You saw more shots being put in. You saw that the Vegas Golden Knights were attacking. They were more, go, 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 go in the offensive zone. I can appreciate that about Vegas. Now, getting into the second period, this is where the penalties really started to kick in. Ryan Suter, he gets a penalty about 5 minutes into the second period. Your Vegas Golden Knights would go on the power play. They would not execute. However, Jonathan Marchessault did have an opportunity, but it just went a bit wide, and your Vegas Golden Knights would stay at 0-0. Halfway into the first period, Miro Heiskanen, he would get a penalty against Jonathan Marchessault. So for the second time in this game, the Golden Knights would be on the power play. And despite a good shot by Tomas Hertl, which had a chance of going in, but Ottinger's pad got in the way, and your Vegas Golden Knights would stay 0-0 in this matchup. And, your Vegas Golden Knights staying at 0-0 at the end of the second period, there is a lot of positives to say about this game. Adin Hill was making incredible save after incredible save after incredible save. He only made 23 saves. So if you look at the box score, you may think that's nothing. But when you're watching this game back, every save was important. It felt like every time a stick and a puck would go off it in Dallas, Adin Hill was right there to intercept. Except for this one moment in the second period that I have to give major props to Mark Stone for doing. Mark Stone is the savior of Game 6 and should get a cookie for what he did in this Game 6. Now, there was a situation where Adin Hill, the puck just goes ever slightly past him, and it looks like it's going to aim towards the net. It's going to score, but at the last moment, a stick gets in the way and shoots it away from the crease. And who else but your captain, Mark Stone? Like, this moment right here is probably going to be the most impactful moment heading into Game 7. If Mark Stone does not get his stick into the crease and shoot the puck away, we may not be having a Game 6. We may not be having, a Game 6 where we're all cheering and clapping and laughing as we're heading into Game 7. Like, it was that close to going in. Like, the puck was only going to go a few feet away, and it was going to be in the net. But Mark Stone did a fantastic job at making sure the Golden Knights remained 0-0. So at the end of the second period, the Vegas Golden Knights, outside of their power play, was 0-2. But the good news for Vegas is that on the penalty kill, they were 1-1. As the only penalty the Vegas Golden Knights had in this entire game was a holding penalty against William Carrier, despite the fact that William Carrier was being held on the opposite end of the ice not even a minute before. But we'll leave that alone for now. Now, getting into the third period, I was talking to a couple of friends of mine. I was at home. I'm watching this game. I'm with a few family members, and I'm telling one of my family members that whoever scores first is going to win this game. I knew it in my heart that whoever scored the first goal, whoever put that puck in the back of the net first, regardless if it was Dallas or Vegas, they had the momentum. And when you have momentum in a defensive matchup like this, whoever scores first is going to win this game. And who would end up scoring the first goal? With halfway into the third period, Noah Hanifin, he is skating around near the left side of Jake Ottinger. He has the puck on his stick. He shoots. It goes in between Kolizar and Ryan Suter. It bounces off of Jake Ottinger's right shoulder, and it goes in for the Vegas Golden Knights as Noah Hanifin, he scores and gets a 1-0 result for the Vegas Golden Knights. So for Noah Hanifin, I appreciate this moment. The fact that he is skating around, he dangles a bit, and he shoots. And by the way, shout out to Keegan Kolizar for his heads-up play. Keegan Kolizar literally twists his body and jumps in midair to make sure that he does not deflect the puck, and it goes off of Ottinger instead. Like, that is a heads-up moment by Keegan Kolizar. I know a lot of people aren't going to give him credit for that, but that is a knowing your awareness situation, and Keegan Kolizar getting the heck out of the way while using himself as a bridge, as a wall in front of Ottinger so that he doesn't know where the puck is. So Noah Hannafin up 1-0 for the Vegas Golden Knights. And for the rest of the third period, I know Jason Robertson, he had a shot. Chris Tanev, he had a shot. I know even Joe Pavelski had a shot at one point. But there was a sequence, about a minute and a half, of excellent hockey that happened in the third period. I was sitting here at the edge of my seat during this 90 seconds of where Dallas had a few opportunities to get the puck in the back of the net. Adin Hill stopped them all. Where Vegas Golden Knights were skating down the ice, going from the defensive zone to the neutral zone to the offensive zone. It was an incredible 90 seconds of just pure hockey. That is a sequence that you can appreciate as a hockey fan. That was incredible there. Now, getting towards the end of the third period, your Vegas Golden Knights, with about 2 minutes left, the empty net would be pulled by Dallas. Jake Ottinger would go skating to the bench, and your Vegas Golden Knights would have a 6-on-5 situation as the Vegas Golden Knights would have an empty net all the way down the opposite end of the ice. And who else but your captain, Mark Stone, to score on the empty netter. And just like that, his third goal of the postseason, assisted by Alex Pietrangelo and William Karlsson, who registers his first point of the postseason. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, an incredible situation. Mark Stone, he ends up winning the game. I'm putting the icing on the cake and sending everybody home happy with a 2-0 game. And just an incredible situation there. I can sit here and appreciate what the Vegas Golden Knights did in this game. Just an incredible all-around game for your Vegas Golden Knights. Something you could tip your hat to, or something that you could sit here and say, your Vegas Golden Knights, they executed when they needed to be, and they did what they had to do to force a Game 7. And speaking of a Game 7, that's going to be Sunday. That's going to be the most impactful game that your Vegas Golden Knights are going to have of this season. And I will be going to one of the sports books here in town. I will be watching this Game 7 because it is a do-or-die situation. It's either going to be Dallas going on and facing Colorado, or your Vegas Golden Knights taking on Colorado in the second round. Funny enough, the Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars are the only Game 7 in this postseason so far. Every single series has ended in either a sweep, 5 games, or 6 games. So overall, your Vegas Golden Knights and Dallas Stars, hey, I did predict it. If you want to go back to our YouTube channel and watch our Stanley Cup playoff prediction video, I did say that I thought this would be a 7-game series between Vegas and Dallas. And sure enough, I am correct in that situation. Let's just hope that the outcome is what I said is going to be true. I said Vegas would win in a grueling 7-game series. So let's see what happens here. Now, going to the box score for this game, Dallas versus Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights would outshoot Dallas 30-23. The Vegas Golden Knights would outhit Dallas 34-23. And there would be only 2 penalties for Dallas compared to only 1 for Vegas. Now, in the face-off circle, the Vegas Golden Knights would have a 54% face-off winning percentage. Overall, not bad for Vegas. And getting into the special teams category between Vegas and Dallas, the Vegas Golden Knights would go 0-for-2 on the power play, but 1-for-1 on the penalty kill. Their penalty kill did do what they needed to do. Block shots, Dallas had 21 compared to 15 block shots by the Vegas Golden Knights. And a really good statistic for Vegas, they would have 9 takeaways compared to Dallas, who only had 5. So overall, a really good performance. I can appreciate what the Vegas Golden Knights and what everyone has done in this matchup. This was just overall a solid 60 minutes of performance by the Vegas Golden Knights. Player of the game does go to Adin Hill. I did kind of reveal that in the beginning of the show, but Adin Hill did a fantastic job in net tonight, got a shootout, and more importantly, advanced your Vegas Golden Knights to a Game 7. And this is going to be a really good Game 7 to watch. Now, breaking down the stats for the Vegas Golden Knights, all of this, by the way, by NHL.com. That's what I'm using for my reference sheet, by the way. I have NHL.com to thanks for all of this, so I do appreciate them because they have all the analytics and all the stats you can desire. Now, for the top line, you had Ivan Barbashev, 2 shots on net, 6 hits in this game for Ivan Barbashev, and he actually did really good in about 15 minutes of ice time for Ivan Barbashev. So for a guy like Ivan Barbashev to be on that same line with Stevenson and with Stone, he did do a lot of hits in this game, and he did contribute for the Golden Knights. Jonathan Marchessault, he had 3 shots on net. He had 3 hits in this game, but unfortunately, he did not get into the score column. In fact, Jonathan Marchessault is an interesting tale for your Vegas Golden Knights, because if you've actually been sitting and watching this postseason, Jonathan Marchessault, the last 2 games, has not registered a point. In fact, Jonathan Marchessault, the last 2 games, really has not done a lot of stuff for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, he does have 4 points in 6 games, 2 goals, and 2 assists. But for Jonathan Marchessault, kind of a rare situation where you did not see him on the stat sheet there. So I do have to mention that. When it comes to Jack Eichel, only 1 shot on net, which is a bit surprising seeing who Jack Eichel is and the elite sniper and the good goal scorer that he is in this situation. However, he did have a block shot, he did have a hit, and this is also somebody who won 4 faceoffs in about 18 minutes of ice time. So good job by Jack Eichel there. This is somebody who, kind of took a step back. He kind of, went into the background in this game. But overall, Jack Eichel only having 1 shot in this Game 6. I know some people would absolutely go up and say, oh man, he only has 1 shot in this series. Well, actually, no. He has more than 1 shot in this series, but only 1 shot in Game 6. Now, going over to the next line, you do see Tomas Hertl. He had 2 shots in this game, but he did have 4 hits, so the physicality is being on display there. He did have 8 face-off wins, so overall, Tomas Hertl did execute when needed and did have some face-off wins for your Vegas Golden Knights. Chandler Stevenson, only 1 shot on net, but he did have a takeaway, and more importantly, he did have 8 face-off wins in around 19 minutes of ice time for your Vegas Golden Knights. Chandler Stevenson did execute and do what his job is, which is to win in the face-off circle. And your captain, Mark Stone, not only getting that very important goal, and actually on 1 shot, by the way, he had 1 shot and 1 goal in this game, but he had 2 hits, and in about 19 minutes of ice time, this is somebody who was good defensively. He had a very, very good impact in this game for your Vegas Golden Knights. So overall, Mark Stone, I applaud him for what he did in this series. Now, I'm not going to go through every single line, but I just want to mention a few guys. William Carrier having the most shots in this game. He had 4 shots in Game 4 in Game 6. That's also the fact that William Carrier had 5 hits in this game. So William Carrier was very productive in this game. 4 shots and 5 hits. There was also some people who did step up in the hits column. Nick Waugh, he had 4 hits in this game. You also had the fact that Keegan Kolesar being the wall in front of Jake Ottinger on that Noah Hannafin goal. Really solid job by Keegan Kolesar. William Karlsson registering his first point of the postseason after going scoreless for the last 5 games. Noah Hannafin not only having 3 shots on net, but more importantly, Noah Hannafin was really productive in around 20 minutes of ice time. He was someone who did execute and did a really solid job for your Vegas Golden Knights. I do appreciate what Noah Hannafin did in this game. And defensively, he was an anchor in front of Aiden Hill, making sure that Aiden Hill had all the protection that he needed. Zach Whitecloud, I have to give him a small amount of credit. He had a takeaway. He had a hit. He had a block shot. Only thing he didn't have was a shot on goal, but he did essentially everything else in this game. So really good job by Zach Whitecloud. Braden McNabb, when I say that he is arguably the best shot blocker in the NHL, 6 blocked shots in this game for Braden McNabb. Is also the same guy who had 2 shots on net and did have a lot of production in around 22 minutes of ice time for Braden McNabb. Alex Pietrangelo, he did what he needed to do in this game. 4 shots on net and 4 blocked shots. So a double 4 for Alex Pietrangelo. That is a good situation there. Now, getting into Game 7. It's going to be interesting to see how your Vegas Golden Knights do. And for your host, Ian Rickelli, what's the lineups going to be like? After a Game 6 like this, are you going to keep the lines exactly the same? Or are you going to make a few modifications? Because I know some people kind of like the fact that there is Barbashev, Eichel, and Marchessault, and then Tomas Hertl being on that line with Stone and Stevenson. I thought that was going to be the second line moving forward, but we saw in this game, they swapped it. So you had a top line of Barbashev, Stevenson, and Stone, and then you had a top 6 line of Marchessault, Eichel, and Hertl. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the lineups look like. Game 7, I'm going to have to take a little bit of a guess here and assume that Aiden Hill, after his shutout, will be back in net for a vital Game 7 against Vegas. However, if Logan Thompson does be in the net for Game 7, I will not complain. He did a fantastic job in the first 4 games of the series. And then Aiden Hill stepped up tonight and did a really good Game 6. So overall, for your Vegas Golden Knights, I can really sit here and say that this is one of the best games we have seen all postseason long. A good game, 2-0 victory for your Vegas Golden Knights. And for Bruce Cassidy, I like the coaching there. I say that he actually did a really stellar job helping the team get to where they needed to be. I can appreciate that. And overall, when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights, this is going to be a moment where when you sit back and you analyze this game a few months from now, it's going to be a game that you can watch and be proud of as a Vegas Golden Knights fan, because this is a Game 6 where everything went right and only a few tad things went wrong in this situation. Man, I'm looking forward to Game 7. I know you are as well. And for everyone that's watching around the world, go Vegas Golden Knights, go the city of Las Vegas. I mean, this is just a situation where your Vegas Golden Knights are taking advantage of all the possibilities and the opportunities displayed to them right now. And there's a lot of positives you can say about this game. So, Game 7, that's going to be a really good moment there. And I will say until next time, here on Vegas Hockey Hub, I'm your host, Ian Rickelli. And until Game 7, watch all our content on prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Go check out the website, paidperletter.com, as use the link, paidperletter.com/Uncle Dan to get started today. They are the sponsor of prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Also, go to the website for the channel, www.prconnectionsradio.com, and go to the YouTube channel at PR Connections Radio, or go to our social media pages at Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you want to follow your host, I am right down here at Ian J. Rickelli. So until next time, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.